we look at Jesus's final moments of his life. And today I want to bring you to the account of his conversations that he had with Pilate. Now, Pilate was the governor of this particular region that he lived in, and he would have the authority to crucify Jesus. And so Jesus and Pilate are having this conversation, and Pilate's very confused. Pilate's very troubled. Pilate's wife is warning him all these things. And he looks at Jesus and doesn't see a whole lot wrong with him. So he goes out to the audience, and in verse 26 of John chapter 18, Pilate went outside to them and said, "What accusation do you even bring against this man?" See, the Jewish people are kind of annoying to him. He basically, I want you for your money and I want you to behave. And as long as you do that, we're cool. But they're being very annoying right now. It's Passover time. They're bringing him into some Jewish law matters, and he wants nothing to do with it. But the people answered him and said, "If this man were not doing evil, we wouldn't have delivered him to you." In other words, they don't have an answer. Jesus is pretty sinless. It's hard to accuse him of too much. So Pilate says to him, "Take him for yourselves. Judge him by your own law." And the Jews said, "It's not lawful for us to put anyone to death." Now, at this point, Pilate's a little bit more scared. He broke a religious law and they want me to kill him. It's not even right in their laws. I don't know about this. So Pilate goes back and he enters his headquarters. He has to think about some things. And he says, "I want to talk quietly with Jesus." He says to Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" as they're saying. And Jesus answered a very fascinating way. He says, "Do you say this of your own accord, or did others say this to you about me?" In other words, have you observed anything about me that's not right? Have you observed me trying to take the kingship from you? But Pilate says, "Am I a Jew? Your own nation's the one accusing you of this. The chief priests, all those people are accusing you and they're delivering you to me. What have you done?" And the next line is key. I think it's very important for us to understand this line in a lot of areas other than just Jesus's life and death. Jesus answers, he says, "My kingdom," are you a king? Yeah, I'm a king, but my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would have been fighting, that I might not be delivered over to the Jews. But my kingdom is not of this world. In other words, what Jesus says, he says, "I'm a king, but I have a different kingdom. It's a different place, it's a different time, it's different values, and you're not going to get it because you have the wrong values." What Jesus says is, he says, "You fight things your way, but my kingdom does things differently. I'm not in conflict with you. I'm in conflict with something much more sinister, much more deep, much more foundational than you will ever understand. And so I'm not going to fight things the way that you fight things." See, I believe that this passage right here should help us to understand what should value to us. I believe that this should help us understand diseases, pandemics, fights, sufferings, rights that we think we have or don't have. I think we can understand these things better, these injustices on earth better, when we recognize that God is working for and has created us for a different kingdom than this current one. And sometimes the suffering, sometimes the injustices, sometimes the disease, all these sorts of things are actually meant to push us closer to the true source of life and to live and prepare ourselves for the true kingdom. You see, Jesus is preparing us for a different kingdom. Jesus is preparing you for a new kingdom. So of course his ways are different. Of course his justice looks a little different. Jesus did not get justice on earth, but if he did, that would have gotten in the way of him doing true justice in the heavenly realms. See, Jesus' kingdom is an upside down kingdom. And some of his ways, therefore, will be very confusing. Will you trust that the Lord is preparing you for something better? And will you submit yourself to his rule that you are prepared for his kingdom?